In today's video, I'm going to share the 5 things I wish I knew when I first started building AI automation and the 5 lessons that I learned from building over 1,000 different automation for myself or for my clients, so that you can build better system or you can hire someone who can build better system for you. The first lesson here is design before you build. A lot of the time, you're gonna start a project by immediately starting to code or starting to use make.com or another no-code editor and immediately jump on that. There is a big problem in actually doing that, and that is the fact that you're gonna start, but at a certain point, you will not know what to do next. So instead, even spending 5 minutes prior to actually starting the building phase in creating a map or a flowchart like the following, where you can have a better idea of what you actually need to do, goes a very, very long way. And this is both because it gives you clarity about what are the different steps involved in a workflow that you need to build, as well as when it comes to delegation, you can have a business analyst who is focused on this process, and you have a developer who have a very better view just because they have a flowchart like the following. So within the flowchart and within this kind of system over here, what you need to do is you need to map out what you actually need to build. You need to provide some context, and you need to mention what are the different actions that you need to have over here. Mention potential edge cases, as well as specific things which might be filtering or other things of that nature. In that way, one person can look at this diagram over here, and if we really wanted to, already start coding something without having to interact with me on a call or whatever. And so this really speeds up delivery, both for ourselves or for our clients when we talk about different automation that we need to build. The second point here is to think in system and not individual automation. So it's very easy to focus and start thinking about just one single automation that you need to build. Maybe because there is an immediate need for that specific automation, but this really limits the ability of the automation to be integrated as a broader part of a system. And thinking in system helps you both in terms of actual business value that you're going to provide, as well as potential amount that you can charge. Because if you think about that, if you have a single automation over here that is able to add the call data to Airtable, for example, this automation will have a value of, I don't know, $100, $200, $500, or something along those lines. But if instead you think about a system of different automation, you think about how that single automation can be embedded into a broader system that allows you or your clients to do a different set of different actions, then it's when this kind of AI system become really valuable, and you don't charge 500 for that. You charge 10x, 20x, 100x the price, because the business value is there. So in this kind of example over here, we have on one side this call data, on the other side we have the system automation, where from call data we can either do actions prior to that, so actions such as enrich the CRM, create a research document about the person, use the call data as a training for an agent, so that later on that can be used for your sales team, for example. Add additional information, do transcript analysis and analyze how you perform on the call, generate action items if needed, or like draft a recap email just from a single action. So in this way, you can see how you can think about one single action and how you can think about a different set of tasks or like system that could span from a single action, helping you not only view automation as I need to do that specific thing, but instead thinking about that as I need to create a system that allows me to automate a specific part of my business, or that helps me create a better service for my clients, or those kind of reasons like that. This is really important also in terms of value that you're going to provide. The third point here is avoid using AI if not really needed. And I would say for one that builds AI automation, this might sound a little bit strange, but people don't actually remember that AI is a black box, and you can always perfectly control what is the output that you're gonna get. Obviously, you can create the best prompt in the world, but that prompt will still be prone to error compared to a role-based system, for example. So when it comes to everything such as small decision making, categorization, or content creation, AI makes sense because you can start creating content, or you can start having at least some sort of judgment for that. But there's still a unpredictability component on top of that. So if needed, instead of using AI for a specific kind of system, it's always best to use rule-based automation. For role-based automation, I mean, for example, calculation. So if you need to calculate something, it's way better to use formulas and different coding instead of using AI. If you need to track specific information and you want to make sure that everything is precise, it's way better to use role-based formulas and things of that nature. Otherwise, you are free to use AI for any kind of small decision making that is not hyper important, categorization, and obviously everything needs to be done with the right prompting and right things. But when you can, try to not use AI and see if that is helping you. The fourth point here is add the human in the loop for quality and safety. So if you're not as familiar with quality in the loop, the fourth point here is add the human in the loop for quality and safety. So here I have two examples of what is the system without a human in the loop and what is the system with human in the loop. So in this first system, what you have is you have an automation that creates content. The content is published immediately, and you see that no one engages because people see that the content is obviously AI generated. If that's the case, it's always better to put a human review process prior to publishing something. So in this part over here, what you have is you have an automation that creates a draft content, and then you have a person that is responsible of checking the content and see what how the content is, and see what is if it's up to standard or not. If it's not up to standard, then you need to review the content and you need to do a manual review. And then if it's actually up to standard, you just press on approve, and that content is automatically sent. Having this kind of process is really, really important for a specific reason, because when it comes to things such as content creation, when it comes to things such as lead generation, all those kind of things, on the other receiving end, you generally have people. And so people actually, like, if you are not creating AI system that are reliable and don't feel like an AI system, people actually can sense that a post or an AI comment is AI generated. And this really, really damages your brand, because it let people say, what does this content say about your business? It says that you are lazy, you don't want to create content, you don't have judgment, you leave the AI to do everything, and all those kind of things. And it hurts your reputation on the long term. So it's way better to have this kind of system where you have someone who decides whether this is up to standard or not for your own business. The problem right now is that AI allows everyone to actually create content, and so you will see a lot of people publish content that is either mediocre or like it really is actually bad because it's completely AI generated. And right now people can actually sense that. So it's way better to, instead of like blindly relying on the AI to create everything, use human in the loop to check what is the content looking like prior to sending it out. And keep in mind, this is a process that can be automated, but prior to doing the automation part, is vital to have a human in the loop, so that human can review every kind of content. And if the content is 95% up to standard every single time after a couple months, then it makes sense to completely automate that. But this is something that only happens with time and with the refinement of different things, which led me to the step number 5, which is about iterating and evolving your automation. So generally, you'll never create a perfect version right from the start, but you will go through iteration for different automation that you're gonna build. You don't need to aim for perfection. What you need to do is you need to create a simple MVP and a simple automation that is going to solve a specific problem. And after that, you can start thinking about adding additional component to that. You can think about refining so that it's more efficient, or adding additional complexity after that. Generally, this is an iterative process. So you start with one simple system, you build that out, and then you improve that system over time. And so this is an essential concept that you need to use when it comes to AI automation and things like that. I hope this video was useful, very value packed, lots of stuff, and let me know what you think about it. Bye.